to the Vanarama National League highlight show on BT Sport. As November draws to a close, things are really hotting up across England's 5th tier, and we'll bring you the best of the action over the next half an hour. On today's programme, Sutton rise to the top as the league changes hands once again. It wasn't a good day for some of the other title challengers, with plenty of valuable points dropped. And we catch up with Dagenham boss John Still as he looks to keep his side in the hunt. We begin with news of a mixed week for Wrexham and their manager Dean Keats. On Tuesday night, the Dragons took over at the National League Summit thanks to a hard-fought win over strugglers Solihull. But a third victory on the bounce was soured somewhat after Keats was handed a 3-game touchline ban. The 39-year-old was charged with improper conduct towards a referee and 4th official in Wrexham's 1-1 draw with Sutton back in September. But the ban doesn't begin until November the 29th, allowing Keats to stay in the dugout for their crunch clash at fellow promotion hopefuls Aldershot. Gary Waddock's side had been out of action for a week after their game at Bromley was postponed, but were hoping to continue some momentum following consecutive wins. They were up against the league's best defence, with Wrexham keeping clean sheets in their previous 3 games. But the hosts found a breakthrough inside the first 15 minutes. Bernard Mensah tapping in his second in 2 games. They may be league leaders, but goals for Wrexham have been hard to come by. A case and example of that here, when Alex Reid had a glorious opportunity to equalise, his shot rolling agonisingly wide. And just seconds later, the visitors were made to pay, as Aldershot doubled the lead. Adam McDonald denied by the crossbar, but Shamir Fenlon applying the finishing touch. He's now just 1 goal short of his tally for the whole of last season. The Shots stay 6th as they become just the 2nd team to defeat the Dragons in 17 games.
I would say that's got to be probably our best performance of this season. We showed everything, you know, in possession. I thought we caused them a lot of problems. I thought our second goal, the build-up play to it was fantastic. And we got our rewards because we played, you know, that well during the course of the first half. And then second half, as I said, we showed other qualities to get ourselves a clean sheet and the 3 points.
Relegation-threatened Guiseley hosted a strong Sutton United, who were aiming to make it 5 away games unbeaten and go top. In midweek, Paul Doswell's side lost to Torquay, ending a run of 9 games unbeaten. Only 12 minutes in at Nethermoor Park, Jamie Collins provided for Craig Dundas, the Sutton attackers, on 7 league goals this season. Past the half-hour mark, Dundas was involved at the other end, a handball providing an opportunity for Guiseley to equalise from the penalty spot. Lee Molyneux stepped up, denied by Jamie Butler. Then only a couple of minutes later, still in the first half, Kieran Cadogan assisted for Tom Bolarimwa, who scored for the first time in 2017. The visitors took the clash 2-0, moving back to the top of a tight National League.
To York Road, where Maidenhead was sitting in mid-table after 21 games in their first season in the 5th tier. Visitors Macclesfield started the weekend in 3rd, knowing 3 points against the Magpies could see them flying back to the top of the table. John Askey's side have the joint best win record in the league, and they were on their way to another one 9 minutes into the second half, with one of the goals of the season. Seeing Carl Pentney off his line, Ryan Lloyd tried his luck from his own half and succeeded. His second goal of the season, simply sensational. The Silkmen held on to the lead until the 88th minute, when Alan Devonshire's side responded. Harry Pritchard's free kick finding Jake Hyde, who headed in a late equaliser. That's 3 draws in a row for both teams.
You know him, one of the most recognisable faces in the National League. Dagenham and Redbridge boss John Still, the 67-year-old's now been a manager for 4 decades. In total, 2 years longer than Sir Alex Ferguson. We went to see him earlier in the week as the Daggers took on league leaders Dover.
If someone had said to me before, like, you're going to start managing at sort of 27, and when you're 67 you're still managing, you go, well, I'm not sure about that. Yeah. It wasn't something I wanted to do, but that was a door that opened that hasn't closed yet, which is remarkable.
It won't just happen. So let's make sure that when we start off, everyone's competing. Everyone. When we have to clear, we have to clear.
I think you have to have a philosophy. I believe in what I do 100%. I can go to Marks and Spencer's and buy a cake, or I can go there and buy all the ingredients that make the cake. And I tell you what, when I've made the cake, the one that I've made is going to be so much better that anyone can buy one of them, but I've made my own one. And that's what I want to do. I want to make my own cakes in the way that I believe, because I believe it will produce players and the team's reach its potential. Can't ask for more than that.
We're at home with the best team in the league. Let's go and play like the best team in the league. Come on. Come on. Come on, boys. Come on. Boots, stay in the hole. Low! Attack inside. Stay high, Corey. Stay high. Come on, Cheeky. Good boy. Hey. Referee. Come on. Dreadful. Oh. Hey, come on! Well done, come on! Tempo of the game, can we do it quick? We need 11 people talking. Listen, best home record in the league. That's not because no one's good, it's because we're good. Let's go and be good. Come on. Come on, Corey! Corner. We've got the ball. So we're attacking, aren't we?
I'm hearing you, John, but you'd rather the free kick and kill the game.
Would I? In the box! Missed it. Corey! Did we play well? No, I don't think we did. Played a lot better than that. But did we work our absolute socks off? Yes, we did. Well done!
No matter what I do and where I go, this club is the most important football club to me. And to give them success is the best thing that I can do.
So after moving up to 5th with that impressive victory, Dagenham were looking to edge closer to the top, travelling north to take on Chester. The home side needed a win themselves, sitting 3 points from safety. Watching this one for us, the two Adams, Virgo and Somerton.
Barrow. Goes down. That's a big shout for a penalty, and it's been given. The referee just gave himself a second to think there and then pointed to the spot, but I have to say on first sight, it looked a fairly easy call. He got 8 in the opening 10 matches of the season, but is in something of a goal drought, Corey Whiteley. Can he end it here? Up against Lynch, it's Whiteley, and it's well wide. Well, his goal drought goes on.
Well, I've seen some poor penalties in my time, and that's right up there. I'm never a massive fan of short run-ups.
Got Cheek in the middle, barrier to the byline, blocked by Halls. It's all Dagenham and Redbridge with 10 gone in the second half. Ferrier seeing much more of the ball. That's a great cross, and it's turned in. It's Ling, the right back, who's got it. And so soon after that missed penalty, Dagenham and Redbridge do now take the lead. Sam Ling with his 3rd league goal of the season. Ferrier. Showed good strength there, Ferrier. And now he'll look to drive in the shot. And it was well saved by Lynch. There still could yet be a chance though here. Ferrier wanted it pulled back, and it's Howell who turns it home. Well, how composed was that finish? Sparks involved as well, he'd only just come on. But it was turned home by Luke Howell.
You can't have a free shot in the 6-yard box there.
Hall's looking to guide it back here, and it's Michael Cheek, and it's 3 for Dagenham and Redbridge. And it's all over now as a contest. Michael Cheek with his 5th league goal of the season.
No idea what Lynch is doing, and he's worked hard in this second half. Michael Cheek, and he's got himself a goal.
Cheek, can he make it 4 here? He can. And it was all too easy for Michael Cheek. And again, it was a fairly simple ball and a confident and composed finish.
That is an excellent finish, it really is.
We were close last year. I think we've played well this year. I think we've always been in and around it. We've overcome some injuries. And we've played, by and large, I think we've played okay all season, but I always say second half of the season, the so-called best teams will start to put it together.
We've come in at half-time, pleased with the performance and certainly positive going into the second half in terms of getting a result out of the game. But I just think second half, there's a reason why I'm standing here today as Chester manager. Is probably because you've probably seen, and it hasn't happened too many times since we've been here, we've capitulated.
Defeat at the hands of Dagenham had seen Dover drop to second in the table in midweek after previously going 10 games unbeaten. They were looking to redeem themselves against a team they'd never played before, as Fylde travelled from the northwest coast to the shores of the southeast. It wasn't until the second half that Ryan Bird had the first real chance, whilst Giancarlo Galifuoco could only head the rebound wide. With 12 minutes to go, Dave Challoner's side became the league's leading scorers away from home. Danny Rowe snatching the ball from Manny Parry to grab the winner and his 11th in the National League. Back-to-back defeats for Dover, next for Fylde, an FA Cup clash with Wigan.
A clash in Hertfordshire between two National League clubs still left in the FA Cup after knocking out EFL sides in round one. Lively Boreham Wood thrashed Maidstone 4-0 earlier this week and started strongly against Woking. From a corner, Tom Champion scored for the first time for Luke Garrard's team, 1-0 to the Wood. Bruno Andrade continues to be one of the form players this season in the fifth tier. In the last 10 minutes, he bagged his 10th of the season against one of his former employers. As the match entered added time, Ini Effiong, who scored in a victory over Ebbsfleet on Tuesday, also put one past Boreham Wood in style, but it finished 2-1. Garrard's men are now unbeaten in 12 in all competitions.
Coming up after the break, strugglers Torquay turn it on as they make it a week to remember. And two under-fire managers go head-to-head in a thriller at the Shea. Welcome back to the Vanarama National League Highlight Show. We've already shown you some of the exciting midweek action, but here's the best goals from round 21. Struggling Torquay picked up only their third win of the season on Tuesday, moving off the foot of the table with a shock 1-0 victory at Sutton. But could the Gulls maintain their momentum against another side at the wrong end of the league in managerless Leyton Orient? You'd have to look back to the 28th of August to find the O's last win on the road. Points at Plainmoor were precious for Ross Embleton's side. But a defensive error inside the opening 15 minutes and they were a goal down. Josh McCoy, on loan from Luton, tapping in his second of the season. Torquay had failed to score in 5 of the previous 6 home league games, but they were 2-0 up before the half-time whistle, Luke Young scoring his third of the campaign from distance. It was the first meeting between the sides for over a decade, but one Leyton Orient fans will want to forget, as the Gulls' leading scorers Rory Keating and Jamie Reid teamed up to seal a second win in a row for the first time this season. Not only 3 goals down, but the visitors were left to play the final few minutes a man down. Jake Caprice punished for a poor tackle on Damon Lathrope. Orient are now on their worst league run since 1977.
We had a good result in midweek. That gave us a little bit of confidence, and it was important that we come back here to play more today and try to build on that momentum really, and we've done so with a very, very good performance.
Solihull Moors and Gateshead both lost in midweek. Solihull to Wrexham, Steve Watson's men against Barrow. The visitors to the Midlands had an early opportunity to go ahead. Russell Penn was brought down in the Solihull area by their midfielder Darren Carter. Penalty given. Jordan Barrow sent the keeper the wrong way, scoring for the 4th time this season. But before the break, Penn, who was already on a yellow, clattered into Carter following their earlier clash. An easy decision to make for referee Paul Marsden. The leaders were down to 10 men. In the second half, Solihull pressed harder with the extra man advantage, and a Courtney Richards delivery was headed in by Wes Atkinson. 1-1 it finished. Moors have won just one of their last 14 in the league.
When you're bottom of the table, it can be the most difficult thing in the world to want the ball and to have it and to try and create chances, but we didn't. We showed that we've got some good players, and we showed that we've got some will and desire and effort, and deservedly got the equaliser, and, you know, in all honesty, we should have got the winner.
2 under-pressure managers squared off at the Shea as Billy Heath's Halifax took on Richard Hill's Eastleigh. Despite a bright start to the campaign, Halifax's 9-game winless run was their worst in a season since reforming in 2008. Eastleigh themselves had just 1 win in 6, and having criticised the fans after last week's defeat to Barrow, a late comeback against Maidenhead earned Hill some respite. With both too close to the bottom 4 for comfort, Jeff Brazier caught up with them prior to this crucial encounter.
I think we showed at the first 10 games what we wanted to do at the start of this season is be competitive in every game, and that's where we were from the first 10 games. We're competitive in every game. We're just hopefully trying to get some players in, trying to get some players back fit, and we should be fine.
How is your relationship with the fans?
My relationship's no different to my relationship with my fans has always been great. Whatever the relationship with the fans to me, that's up to them. You know, I clearly said that after the game, and I never blamed them for the result against Barrow. I never. If anybody listens to the interview, I never said that it was their fault we lost the game. But I came back on the other night, and the support was fantastic.
I think every game's must win. I think in this league, whatever game you're in, you're always looking to take 3 points. Obviously, because they're where they are in the table, it makes it a little bit more exciting for everybody.
It was 17th versus 18th as Halifax returned to home turf following back-to-back defeats on the road. Eastleigh, meanwhile, were without a win in 4 games as they headed to the Shea for the first time in over 18 months. The Spitfires launched what turned out to be an unforgettable encounter. Sam Matthews, the creator of the first incident, when his corner was carried over the line by Sam Johnson for the opening goal. 6 minutes later, it was another corner and another goal for the visitors. Andrew Boyce thought he had it, but the vital touch coming from surprise substitute Chris Zabrowski, who was credited with his first goal for almost 3 years. Halifax had failed to score in their previous 2 home games, but they were awarded a chance when Danny Clark was fouled inside the box by Cavan Miley and Callum Howe. Penalty to the hosts. Scott McManus stepped up to convert from the spot and open his account for the campaign. 2-1 at the break. Billy Heath's side were back in contention, but hopes faded when keeper Sam Johnson clattered into Zabrowski and was sent off for a second yellow card. Eastleigh capitalised, and 5 minutes later it was 3-1. Simon Heslop on loan from York firing past sub-shot stopper Tom Nicholson. But this match was far from settled, and on 72 minutes the Shaman produced another fight back. McManus picking out Tom Denton, who slid in for his 7th of the season. Clearly unhappy, Ross Flitney kept hold of the ball in protest, and as a result was given a second yellow card to become the second keeper to be sent off. He was replaced for the final 15 minutes by defender Boyce, who'd featured between the sticks before. But he was beaten in the final minute by Hull loanee Daniel Batty, whose second goal of the season ensured a share of the spoils in a 6-goal thriller at the Shea.
We're 3-1 up, 20 minutes to go. 11 v 10. And we shoot ourselves in the foot, and I just think we lost our discipline. We'd had a good discipline, we had a good shape behind the ball. I just felt we had 2 or 3 lads that felt that they could go and play where they wanted, do what they wanted, and rather than keep the shape.
We've come into this league, we're a part-time team in a full-time league. Financially, a million miles from the majority of the clubs in this league, and the position where we are in the league, we're doing a good job. The players are doing a good job. So no, we carry on, we get on with our jobs, and like I say, I thought we deserved a point today.
Playing at Barrow, Bromley were aiming to make it 4 matches unbeaten in the National League. They could have done that on Tuesday, but a home clash with Aldershot was called off because of electricity issues. Inside the opening half an hour in Cumbria, Frankie Raymond opened his Bromley account in style, too powerful for Stuart Moore. Barrow did get to play midweek, seeing off Gateshead 2-1 on the road, but back at Holker Street they were soon 2 down after the interval. Luke Wanadio moving on to 5 goals for the campaign for Bromley. Then 3 points were sealed in the final 10 minutes. Like Raymond, Dominic Vose got his first ever goal for the visitors, who after 22 games are only outside of the playoff positions on goal difference.
To Prenton Park, where Tranmere welcomed Maidstone to Merseyside. Mickey Mellon's men were without a win in 2 and were one of 3 teams on 28 points. 7 places above them were Jay Saunders' team, who were still smarting from a 4-0 home defeat to Boreham Wood last time out. Rovers had seen off the Stones twice last season, and they went ahead here after just 7 minutes. Eddie Clark with a super sprint down the left, crossing to James Norwood, who won the race to the ball and found the back of the net. It was 2-0 less than 10 minutes later. Connor Jennings on the attack this time, picking out Andy Cook, who turned Alex Finney inside out before firing past Lee Worgan for his 2nd goal in 2 games. Into the second half, and Maidstone was staring at another heavy defeat despite their best efforts. They conceded a 3rd when Worgan palmed away a cross, but only as far as Oliver Norburn, whose shot flew in with the help of a big deflection off Joe Anderson. With 7 minutes to play, Adam Buxton tried his luck from long range. Well saved by Worgan, but Norwood was on hand to score his 2nd of the game and 8th of the season. A second 4-0 defeat in a week for Maidstone sees them drop 3 league places. Tranmere move up to 11.
Yet another first ever meeting for Hartlepool, who were 2 divisions apart from Ebbsfleet last season. The visitors had form on their side, losing only 1 of their last 9 in the league. The Fleet, meanwhile, were looking to recover from losing their last 2 in a row. Just over 20 minutes gone, Miles Weston snatched the lead for Daryl McMahon's side. Into the second half, a corner found Danny Kedwell at the far post, 2-0. And with less than 10 to go, good play from Sam Magri on the Ebbsfleet right eventually led to Luke Coulson completing the scoring. The home team secure their biggest win at this level since March 2013.
The defeat sees Hartlepool slip into the bottom half on goal difference, but just 4 points off a playoff spot. In the relegation battle, Torquay's big week moves them up, but the rest of the bottom 4 all failed to win. Leyton Orient stay 3 points clear of the drop, but the pressure on them continues to build. At the top, we've had 2 new leaders in the past week, but Sutton now edge it on goals scored. Wrexham, Macclesfield and Dover all dropped points, but big wins for Dagenham and Aldershot moved them within striking distance. BT Sports live coverage of the Vanarama National League continues on Saturday the 9th of December with a massive game at Moss Rose as title rivals Macclesfield and Wrexham go head-to-head. We're live from midday on BT Sport 1 and on our 4K UHD channel. We leave you this week with the league's top scorer, Danny Rowe. It's been an incredible 12 months for the 27-year-old who bagged 47 goals last season to help AFC Fylde win promotion before breaking the club's scoring record back in August. Rowe has now netted 7 times in his last 5 games to reach 11 goals for the campaign, including the winner at high-flying Dover. We'll see you next time.